Okay, everyone, we're ready to start post-game with head coach Steve Clifford. If you please raise your hand in the Zoom, we will call on you. First question goes to Dan Savage, OrlandoMagic.com.
Cliff, I know you were looking at execution and different offensive sets, but what did you think of the starting unit and the job that they did tonight, setting the tone?
Yeah, no, I mean both halves. They were really good to start the game, and then they had to stretch in the third quarter, really playing through Vooch a lot, where they got the lead off. So we got to play with a bigger cushion, but they had great readiness to start the game, and they started the third quarter the same way. And there were some really high execution stretches of play when those guys were on the floor.
Josh Robbins, The Athletic.
Steve, what are your initial impressions of how Cole and Chuma looked?
Well, I thought they both did some good things, and it was their first chance to, play against other, opposition. So, we'll watch the film, and they'll have a good chance to see what they did good and things that they can improve on for Sunday tomorrow when we practice.
Roy Perry, Orlando Sentinel.
Steve, I know you like to go back and watch the film and take away from that. But, you mentioned before the game, you're looking at pace, purpose and conditioning level. How did you feel just by what you saw out there in those three areas tonight?
Well, I think that, again, the starters were really good. That starting unit was very good in both halves. I thought that when we broke the lineup in the first half, we really struggled. And then, in the second half, I thought the second unit played much better. So the two big things, obviously, we did is they lived at the free throw line and they smacked us on the glass. So those are two things that, for 2 years we've been really good at. And we have to fix that tomorrow so we can play better Sunday night.
Jamie Say, WKMG.
How did your starters look defensively tonight?
Really good. I mean, they didn't rebound the ball great except for Vooch, but their defense was actually really good, really good. I mean, we had 16 deflections in the first quarter where they played the majority of it. We had 14 deflections in the third quarter where they played the majority of it. And there were a couple mistakes, but, Atlanta is very difficult to guard. And I thought the defensive part to me was very good.
Let's go to Christos Saltas, Sport DNA in Greece.
Hello, Coach.
Hey.
I would like to ask you how satisfied you are about the creativity of your team, and also about, I would like a comment about Markelle Fultz, how satisfied you are about him.
I think Markelle's in a really good place. I think that especially in the third quarter, I thought he was very solid in the first half. Then in the third quarter, he had this stretch where he really got going. He got in the paint. He created some shots. He had some good passes. In his defensive activity, I thought the whole game was very good.
Thank you.
Back to Josh Robbins.
Steve, in the pregame, you mentioned that Aaron was going to be limited to about 16 minutes. We never followed up to ask you what has limited him a little bit in practice the last few days. Is it still his hamstring, or is it something else?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of it. I think is, just making sure that starting with his hamstring that he's able to be ready by the 23rd, and Lindsey feels comfortable that that we have a good plan for him. He agrees with all of it. He does most of practice. He doesn't do everything, but he's doing a little bit more every day. I thought he played I thought he was very good defensively. I mean, he was 12 points, 6 assists. He didn't rebound as good as he normally does, but I really like the way he played, and he's played the same well in practice every day. He's been very consistent.
Aaron Goldstone, Orlando Pinstripe Post.
Coach, I know you're familiar with Dwayne, but this is the first game that your team has been on the floor with Dwayne Bacons. You inserted him in the starting lineup. How did you feel Dwayne played, and how did you notice the rest of your team played with him on the floor?
Well, that group played really well, and I thought he was very solid. Look, Dwayne's a talented kid, and you can see he can play off the dribble. He gets in the paint. He can make a lot of the passes. He's a very good pull-up jump shooter, and he was 1 for 3 from 3. I think he's going to shoot the ball well from 3. He's working hard with Bruce. He works hard with Pat Delaney every day. Plus, he can defend a lot of different guys. You know, he's big and physical. He didn't rebound the ball as well as we need him to, but I think he played well. And he's easy to play with. You know, his decision making is solid, and he looks to, play for his teammates. So I think the things that you're talking about, I don't think the transition will be very difficult at all.
Let's go to Canty, La Guerra, Puerto Rico.
Hey, Coach. Going back to the Dwayne Bacon question, can you tell us what he can bring to this team in the future? We know that you're familiarized with him already, but Dwayne Bacon is a very talented player, defensively and offensively. But what can he bring to this team this season?
Well, I think that he and Cole and Chuma too, actually, they can bring the things that we struggled with last year, driving the ball into the paint, being able to play inside out. I look at Dwayne. Dwayne can be a two-way player. I think he can guard twos and threes, and he can play both positions on offense. I think that as he gets, continues to shoot the three with confidence, which he's starting to do, I think it opens up a lot of components to his play, and I think he can be a very good two-way player.
Dan Savage?
If you touched on this a little bit earlier with Josh, but when Aaron's, making plays as well as being active, how valuable is that for your squad, when he's distributing the basketball and playing with a high energy level?
Oh, yeah, well, I'll give you the stat that Pat Delaney gave Aaron the other day. I think that you guys have got to look this up. I think that when he gets 6 or more assists, then we're like top 5 in offensive efficiency in the league. And, when it's less than that, we drop considerably. But so when he's involved, particularly like he was tonight in the open floor, passing out of the post, it changes our offense. You guys go back to last year, the stretch from the All-Star game to play stoppage, we were number 1 in offense in the NBA. And part of that was the schedule we played. But he was over 9 rebounds, almost 7 assists, and I think like 16.5 points a game at, I think, almost 49% field goal and like 34 from 3. So, when he's right, and I think he's ready to have a terrific year, he does everything for us, and it makes us a different team.
Okay, last question for Coach Clifford goes to Christos Saltis.
Coach, you mentioned the pace of your team. Do you feel the first 3 quarters of that game is a kind of example about the way that you want to play this season?
Yeah, I think we're better when we play quicker. And then we have to combine that with good purpose, good execution. We had some stretches of that tonight that were good, but it's certainly things that we'll watch the film closely with tomorrow and hopefully do better on Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you.